people want you to do, that's not their decision. It's not their life, and the choices that they're imposing upon you, they're not real because it's
So
all
you feel like
subjective.
expectations.
It could be expectations, it could be instructions, it could be whatever it is. Um, the whole point, again, just get back to the macro, is just live your life in such a way where you're not trying to play somebody else's Calvinball, where you're being dictated what you should and shouldn't do, because they don't know. It's their life, and they have a bunch of random shit that they do every day, and it's your life. You should live it however way you want to live it.
Yeah, you can definitely find anecdote with that game to life, if you put it that way, and you explain it very well. Like, you cannot play other people. This is a conversation between friends.
None of what is said here should be taken as legal advice.
We are not experts in any way.
Take what resonates and leave the rest.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So today we have a different little bit of a change here. I got Michael with his chilling setup, and I'm over here on an actual laptop this time as opposed to the phone. Yeah, bro, you're missing some whiskey on one side and then a cigar on the other. So in terms of the topics that we have for the day, on the foundation, we have an interesting, weird little topic called Calvinball. So we'll get into that, what that is. On the fitness, we have how can you go without water, which I'm not sure, like maybe we were talking about fasting, or I don't know. We'll get into it once we get into it. And on the finance section, we have the markets are closed today. And so what does that mean? Why is that? And news updates at the end.
All right, let's jump right into the foundation topics, which is, you chose the topic. Can you explain us what Calvinism?
Calvinball. So let me see if I have it here, so I can read the definition out. But essentially, it's this game that was developed in, I think it was Canada, by this sports player. I think it was a baseball player or something like that. And it's hard to explain it because it's not really a game you actually play per se. I mean, like, you can play it, but like you can never play it twice. So here, let me see if I can find it.
So to put it short, it's a game with no rules except one. You cannot repeat what you created. You cannot play twice.
Same rules cannot be used twice except for the rule that rules cannot be used twice. That is the game.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. And any plays made in one game may not be made again in any future games. So, this says the game here may involve wickets, mallets, volleyballs, and other sports-related equipment. So, basically that was pretty much it. So the whole point of the topic, right? So that game kind of sounds interesting, but weird. Because, again, there's only one rule, and it's the rule that you don't do the same thing twice. I don't know about you, but that sounds really random.
No, it does. It does. When you send me the article to read it, I was like, what? This is like a game with no rules. That's literally the first sentence that is in the article. So I was like, okay, how then one is supposed to know where to go? Or how are you
supposed to play this game?
Yeah. Or how do we know, like, what the purpose of the game is eventually, Like, what is the purpose of the game? Because, like, if you think about it, most of the games that we play, they have a purpose. So aside of the rules, they have a purpose. For example, to kill people, or racing cars is to eventually, like, win the others and stuff like that. They have a purpose. But this game, no purpose at all. The only goal is the only rule is not to repeat the same way that you played before. So, for example, if you played, how do you call it? If you play against, okay, can you explain this a little bit better? So the way that you play once, that's the only way that you can play.
Yep.
Wait, and you cannot repeat it. So if you played it once, that's it. It moves on. You gotta play differently next time, and so on. So it's a loop. So you kind of play differently every single time, but you cannot repeat a way that you played it before. Fuck,
So,
it sounds more confusing.
yeah, right?
Pick it out.
But think about it. There's one game that we play every day that is like that game, and that's the game of life.
True.
You
I
know, we may be able to, we think we're doing the same thing again, right? Where we're repeating our same actions, but it's always at a different time. It's never necessarily the same thing at the exact same moment with the same exact sequence of events. Something always changes every time. So that's why, there's an infinite possibilities of things that you could do within the game and within the game of life. So the whole premise or the whole idea as to why I wanted to talk about this was because Calvinball is analogous to you living your life. And what I mean by that is you're not going to do anything ever the same twice. And you can't really play anyone else's game besides your game because everybody else's game is different, right? So by that metric, you can't try to play somebody else's game because you don't know what the fuck the game is. And if you try to repeat what they've done, then all you're going to do is set yourself up for failure because that's not your game. Mm-hmm. And there's this other point as well. If somebody tries to make you play their game, right? They're like, hey, do this, this, and this, or whatever the situation is. There's a level of randomness where like you can't make any progress. So you can't really be going out and playing other people's game. You have to play your game. Whatever other people think that you should do, or whatever other people think, or whatever other people want you to do, that's not their decision. It's not their life, and the choices that they're imposing upon you, they're not real. Because it's all subjective.
Like expectations.
It could be expectations. It could be instructions. It could be whatever it is. The whole point, again, just get back to the macro, is just live your life in such a way where you're not trying to play somebody else's Calvinball, where you're being dictated what you should and shouldn't do, because they don't know. It's their life, and they have a bunch of random shit that they do every day, and it's your life. You should live it however way you want to live it.
Yeah, you can definitely find a anecdote mm-hmm. with that game to life, if you put it that way, and you explain it very well. Like, you cannot play other people's games because you should be focused on playing your own game. That mm-hmm. is life. Now, life, it comes at random, but I can argue one thing, that there are going to be something cycles and patterns that you're gonna kind of, what deja vu is.
Right,
like,
we talked about this before.
Like deja vu, but eventually it's a deja vu, but maybe with different people, different situations, but wouldn't be like the same situation, or like, well, not like the same patterns that you're going through in a deja vu, be kind of like replaying the same game before or again.
It could be. I mean, again, none of this is like a hard science, right? The idea is just to like whatever's presented there. But yeah, I mean, you could argue that for sure. Deja vu can be used following the same sequence of patterns or similar sequence of patterns. But then you can also argue it's not the same though.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely
not the same time. It's not the same exact order of events. Maybe it feels the same, but maybe it's not. You don't know, because our thoughts and our memories aren't always 100% accurate.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, it's not going to be the same. Like I said, maybe the situations are going to be a bit different. Maybe the people is going to be different, but the pattern is going to be similar. But ultimately, they're not going to be the same. So there's never going to be a situation in your life that you're going to live twice. That's why, like, experiences or whatever you do every day matter, and you should enjoy it. Like, if you're not doing something today that you're not really happy with, or you're not truly bringing the best out of you, then try to do better tomorrow. And that all kind of comes down to like your own competition, being yourself and trying to be better of who you were yesterday. Because in a game, that's like, once again, this Calvinball doesn't really have a clear purpose, but if you apply it like on life, the purpose is always going to be to do better and be better than who you were yesterday, right? And stay on your purpose, right? You have a purpose, you have a goal, but eventually it all comes down to being and doing something that you were not doing yesterday, and improving yourself every day. So it's a constant game of improvement, constant seeing new patterns, meeting new people, thinking differently, coming with new ideas, maybe reading a book, exercising, etc. The possibilities are
Limitless.
infinite as well as random, because you don't know what life is going to bring you tomorrow or even the next hour or so. Like, we don't know what's going to be our situation. And that's the randomness of life, and that's the randomness of that we kind of like live every day. So I can see the anecdote with life and this game, which is kind of interesting. I haven't really put too much thought on it because literally Random told me to read it like this morning. I read it through, but didn't really have time to meditate on it until we start talking. Yeah, until now, which makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Right. So that's pretty much it. Just play your own Calvinball. Don't play somebody else's, and that's it.
All right, that's pretty good. So let's move on to fitness. Fitness.
All right. So what were you talking about there?
About how long can we stay without drinking water? So let's say this is my last water bottle of the day, and how long can I go and survive and be alive without drinking any water?
Okay.
The rest. How long
have you done it? Have you done research to see what the answer is?
No.
Okay.
What do you thought? What do you thought about it?
So that goes to, well, here's a question. Is it just like no water? Are we still consuming food, or is it nothing?
Just water for now.
So you can still eat food?
Yeah, you can still eat food.
So then that becomes the case, then I would say maybe you can push that to maybe like 3 to 5 days, maybe a week. Because, whatever food you consume, because if you leave that option open, then you can just consume foods that have a lot of water content, right? But let's go with the hypothetical scenario that is nothing, no food or water. Mm-hmm. How long do you think?
Not food, bro. Like, isn't like 80% of our body like composed of water or something?
Give or take.
Nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it's a little bit shorter than that. Like 2 weeks, maybe.
2 weeks. Not even close.
You dead? Maybe 1 week?
No. Oh, maybe a week. You could try that.
I would say like it should be shorter than that. Because even like if you go 1 day without drinking water, your lips start drying, especially now, on winter. Even in winter, like your skin gets dry. Worse in the summer where you're sweating.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like 1 week or less than a week. That you cannot survive. Like you will eventually dehydrate and die. Like your throat, you're gonna be out of breath.
So what ends up happening is that your body is literally starved for water. So it literally just starts finding anything and everything that has water within your body. Mm-hmm. So some things that have water in your body include your organs and your muscles, your skin. That's why your skin becomes dry. Not so much with the hair, but basically everything that has some sort of organic tissue to it has water, and your body will do its best to extract that water to keep itself functioning for the time being, right? So yeah, that goes to what's called dry fasting. And dry fasting, it's an extreme version of fasting where you literally consume nothing. Some people, like there's some medical aspect to it or medical applications that you can use it for. Mm-hmm. It could be extremely useful for people that are dealing with, well, I mean, I would just say some sort of cellular issue. So any issue regarding the cells and things like that, because it essentially puts your body in survival mode. And we've talked about it before. When you're fasting, your body goes through this process called apoptosis and what's the other one? It's cell death, and then new cells regenerate. But that happens while you're fasting, and that can happen when you're drinking water. But when you don't drink any water, you kind of hyperimpose that. So, or rather, you speed up the process significantly because your body's just trying its best to like literally survive. So, killing off old cells that aren't functioning or aren't doing too much and regenerating new ones. That way, you have more energy and more vital in order to kind of go out and get some food in order to help you survive. That's what your body starts doing. So yeah, within the first 24 hours, you're going to feel extremely tired, very delirious, and you can easily pass out. Most people don't really go beyond 48 hours of dry fasting just because it completely wrecks your shit. Like you start going like literally delusional. So I would say somewhere within the realm of about maybe 3 to 7 days. That's how long you can dry fast.
Yeah, you are completely correct on that. It's about 3 days, according to Google.
Otherwise, you'd completely die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it takes about like a person cannot go more than 8 days without like any food or water. So if you,
That's not necessarily true. You know, any food or any food and water.
it would depend on the person also. I think, like the mass of your body, how much water do you have in your body? Wow, that's an interesting topic to talk about. Like, not everybody like we cannot like how water is a scarce resource, and we yet still kind of wasting it, and we don't realize that global warming is an issue that eventually gonna lead to our extinction. Maybe not because of the climate, but because it's gonna dry the rivers and where we get our source of water.
Yep.
So it's an interesting topic to like kind of put it on, and that's why I put it on here about like how long can I was curious how long can we go without drinking water? Because I drink water fairly a lot. Like I probably finish around 6-7 of these, or like equivalent to this, like like cups, or even more. But I'm in a constant consumption of water, and yet sometimes my lips still get a little bit dry. Like right now they're a bit dry, but it's crazy how water plays a huge role in our bodies and everything that we use, like from like brushing teeth, like even doing our prime necessities. So we should definitely.
Yeah, we use water literally for everything.
For everything, yeah. It's insane. But yeah, that was the topic for the day about the health. Just want to see like how consumption of water should be one of your priorities every day. Like whether you're doing something productive, going to the gym, where you work out, water. You should always be drinking water. Make sure it's water, not just like juice and stuff like that. I mean, juice are good, but if you're drinking soda, it's not the same thing. We're not getting the equivalent as a water bottle.
No, not at all. And all the sugar and all the processed nonsense. You always want to stick with a good glass of just water. Or, you can have some mineral water as well. That's actually even better, but, that's getting a little fancy. So regular water is fine.
Only you got money for that. I don't. All right. Let's move on to the last topic of the day. Market close. What does that mean? Well, today is Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. The markets are closed on major holidays of the season throughout the years. What does that mean? Should we, take a break as traders, investors, or what should we be doing during this?
Well, for me, I'm taking a break for today. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, for me, I've been busy today. A lot of just panels, a lot of meetings, blah blah. But Bitcoin is not taking a break. That's where I wanted to go. Bitcoin has been like fluctuating between 35K and 40K, well, 39-ish, and eventually it's gonna break through. So, if you are a trader and you maybe you don't have any plans for today, or you don't want to take a day off, definitely you should be doing your research, analyzing stuff, taking this time to kind of look into your portfolio, looking into what's ahead of the week. And it's a short week, so it's going to be only 4 day trading.
4 days of trading, yeah.
So you should definitely take advantage of the time that you have today, the free time that if you do, to analyze, see what you got, what you play for the week, and maximize your profit, maximize your trades, as well as also you can maybe look into cryptocurrency that are trading. Bitcoin is not the only crypto that is out there. You do have other crypto currencies that are performing really good, or they all have a different different purpose, and a little bit less cheaper as well, and some even costing like less than a cent, where you can really invest and see like the patterns. In crypto, they go 7 days a week, holidays or no holidays, they keep trading. So that's an alternative. If you still want to make some money, if you still want to do some profits, look into trading Bitcoin.
Yep. It's one of those things. everybody's projecting to either, go to the moon or just completely flatline.
Bitcoin is gonna. Yeah.
But in the meantime, we can keep trading it if you'd like trading.
Yeah, it's been fluctuating. Like I've been looking at it, and I'm just like, damn, you can definitely trade. Like day trade this.
I mean, there's always you see clear fields of clear supports, clear resistances, right? And like today alone, it took 5%, and then it dropped, but then it'll probably bounce back up to 5%. So that means within the scalping, you can get 2 or 3% off of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the money laying around, then it's a good option as well. But yeah, that's pretty much where I wanted to go now. Tomorrow we'll be back on trading. I haven't. I should be listening to my own advice. I might do after this. Yeah, after this, do my research and see, because I'm still trying to diversify my long-term portfolio. That it's kind of mess. Because last week I took very hard hits on that. And
are you still big into tech? Are you still dealing a lot of tech stuff?
So yeah, I'm trying to see which one I can get rid of and which one I wanna grow. The thing is that I have my problem is not the amount of tech companies that I'm investing on, it's the amount of shares I hold in each company.
So I'm telling you, you got to do your fractional shares, man. That way you can diversify better.
Yeah, I should definitely look into that, but definitely trying to balance that out, because I was looking into my portfolio and I don't have much tech companies. I do have more shares that I put more money into those companies because they tend to be more expensive as well. So definitely.
That's it. Fractional shares, that's exactly why fractional shares becomes, something useful, right? So you don't have to put so much capital into just buying one stock. And then if it doesn't perform well, you take a serious beating. As opposed to, having a well-diversified portfolio that, whatever happens, it's always balancing itself out. It's never just
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I will look into that more. But moving on to the news updates, do you have anything for me?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're going into this week with the President-elect Biden getting inaugurated into office. I believe, what is it, the 21st?
The 20th. It's
20th. Wednesday. So, 2 days from today, we'll have the new president of the United States. And yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Maybe we get a civil war, or the aliens actually finally arrive as I projected or, anticipated. We'll just have to wait and see. What about you? Any news?
Well, I'm just checking right now. Haven't really got the time to check any trending news for today, or that happened last on the weekend. But one concern is that, one thing that I was looking into last week is that COVID updates on hospitalizations and what do you call it when you contain
Contagious?
Contagious, yeah. It has been flattening a little bit. Like you saw how the past months is starting, I think on December, January, it was like exponential curve. Mm-hmm. So right now the line at the top is still flattering. So like giving us a hint that we might have reached to the peak, and maybe we are going to start trending down. But the appearance of the new trend, the new variant might change everything, because we only have seen a few cases here in New York with the new variant, but according to some reports from Europe, it's more contagious. It's more contagious and it spreads faster. Now, I also heard from some friends I have in Ecuador, they mentioned that a rumor over there is that people who already had the previous variant are still vulnerable to get this new variant. But there has seen cases over there about that. So it's a little bit concerned about whether we are going to move on into a future lockdown. So as soon as President Biden gets elected, he might execute a presidential order to go into lockdown once again. So we gotta see how that plays out this Wednesday, honestly. Definitely looking into, I want to see how the markets react to a Democrat transition on the Capitol Hill. But it's going to be something interesting to look into.
For sure.
Because a lot of tech, they support Democrats.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
we're
So,
going to see positive reaction in the markets, especially on the tech sector.
100%. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Tomorrow we start fresh.
We will see how it reacts because last year the federal bank, the Federal Reserve, they pretty much lowered the interest rates to zero, back into like a little bit more higher, back again to zero. It was like playing along as the COVID evolved. But we're gonna see how they manage with a new leader on the.
Well, I mean, I don't know necessarily if this is across the board, but at least for the gym, right? They've imposed a 4.5% tax increase to the memberships, right? So it doesn't seem like it seems like a lot, but relative to the amount that people are paying, it's like $1 and something increase.
But that accumulates. Like, imagine how many members there are in the gym.
There's somewhere around like 5,000 or so.
Exactly, 5,000. That's a huge loss for the state government.
Well, no, this is a federal income tax now, or rather, this is state tax. Yeah, so
for
federal.
the state.
Yeah.
That's an enormous loss for the state because imagine for like, wait, how many?
No, that's a gain.
Wait, what?
So the memberships are getting put on a 4.5% tax increase.
Oh, increase. So that's advantage then.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't like that's across the board. Taxes are going to start going up across the board in order to make up for the fact that all the stimulus that we've been getting, all the economic shutdown. So, let's see what's going to happen in terms of, tax increases as Biden gets into office, because that's on one of the points on his ballot is to increase taxes. I think it was specifically dealing with businesses, but, so the individual members, they're paying more for the membership. So
they're paying more. Yeah, it accumulates, because it becomes monthly. Like if it's like how much, like 1.50.
Well, yeah, like $1.63 increase for membership, but that's only for like the base membership. Some memberships they go up to $100.
Yeah, see, it's a huge. We're gonna see the change. Eventually, we're gonna notice the change as we move on. Now, China's GDP in the fourth quarter grew 6.5% from a year ago, and its GDP from the entire 2020 rose 2.3%. It is the only major economy that grew last year. China did something right. I mean, they kind of contained. Well,
from what we heard, they contained it well.
True, exactly. Yeah, I was trying to say that, but I didn't want to sound a little bit skeptical. But Nestle, the chocolate company, is recalling more than 762,000 pounds of pepperoni hot pockets because they might be contaminated with extraneous materials, specifically pieces of glass and hard plastic.
What the hell?
This is not gonna be good.
No, not at all. Are you kidding me? Jesus.
Damn.
I used to love eating Hot Pockets. That's how you know I used to be fat.
Yeah, I never eat it actually.
Pretty good. They're like mini pizzas.
Interesting. But yeah, so that's you're gonna see this a huge controversy on Nestle's future Q4.
For sure.
A lot of lost on material, product, marketing, all this. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. There's not much. It's a chill Friday. Well, not
Monday.
I mean, on the podcast it's a chill Friday. But yeah, I gotta say deuces and
Peace out.
peace out.
What the is we doing?